guys, what's going on? It's Richard here. How you all doing? I hope you're doing well. Real quickly, before you watch this video, if you can do me a big favor and watch my Baby Driver review, if you need to, the link might be down below. If you just check, maybe you'll see a link. You click on it, you watch it, you like it, you subscribe, you do all that. You come back and you watch this. Good, great, grand, wonderful. That is actually a quote from Chris Farley's line in Billy Madison. Anyway, if there's one person I would quote, Chris Farley is definitely one of those people. But anyways, big exciting news I'm here to talk to you guys about. We talked about it briefly. Wes talked about it briefly a couple videos ago. Umbrella Academy, my favorite comic book series of all time, is being adapted into a show, a live action television show on Netflix. This is so flippin' exciting, you guys. Like, you have no clue how exciting this is. I can't, like, I'm at a loss for words. I can't even describe how over the moon I am with excitement. It's insane. Yeah, yeah, I'm excited. I remember when I first read the comic, when it first came out. I ordered it through Dark Horse's website, and I got the paperback volume. I got the single issues, but I couldn't always get to my comic shop, so I couldn't get the single issues every week. And so I got the trade, and I just sat and I read it. I've probably read it now a good, like, probably over 100 times, man. It's so good. Now, while I'm freaking out with excitement right now, some of you watching this might be looking at me and going, what's so exciting about it? Why are you so excited? What is Umbrella Academy? Why am I even watching this video? Why did I click on something? I wanted to look at something that was like a cool Umbrella video, and then I got to this. I don't understand. I'm sorry if you were looking for another video, but, I ramble. I'm sorry. It's like 5 in the morning and I'm making this video, so yeah. So basically, we kind of explained a little bit what Umbrella Academy was. Wes did in his video, but he wanted me to expand on it a little bit. So, because he knows I'm a big fan of it, so that's why I'm here. I'm gonna give you the 101, the 411 on what exactly Umbrella Academy is. Now, Umbrella Academy, which is I guess you could call it a limited series. It's got 2 volumes out currently from Dark Horse Comics. There's Apocalypse Suite and Dallas. And the series was created by Gerard Way and Gabriel Ba. Now, you might recognize the name Gerard Way because he was the front man for My Chemical Romance. But unbeknownst, or little do you might know, while you might recognize him as the rock star Gerard Way, he's actually got a lot of comic book in his blood. He went to art school and majored in cartooning, and he interned at DC Comics. He's wanted to be involved in the comic book business for a long time. And unfortunately, the band kind of happened. Not unfortunately, because the band is amazing. I still listen to their music all the time. So comics kind of took a backseat. But now that the band is split up, unfortunately, he's doing comics full time. And his first foray into comics, he was still in My Chemical Romance when he wrote this. His first foray into comics was Umbrella Academy, and it's this really weird, eccentric story with superheroes in it. It's like, I can't call it a superhero story, honestly. It's like Watchmen. Watchmen, I can't call a superhero story either. It's like a dystopian, science fiction story that had superheroes in it. That's kind of, how I always describe Watchmen. The same thing with Umbrella Academy. It's a little different than your typical superhero story, though it's got, it's definitely superhero-esque, but I wouldn't immediately say superheroes. Now, Umbrella Academy, the basic plot, the basic origin story of the Umbrella Academy is there's this guy named Sir Reginald Hargreaves, the Monocle. And the Monocle, it basically invented all these amazing, crazy, exciting things. He's like a Willy Wonka entrepreneur type guy, except, he doesn't focus on chocolate. He does everything. And one day he goes on the hunt for these extraordinary children that were randomly born women who had shown no signs of pregnancy whatsoever. Very weird comic, guys. Very weird comic, but so good. And there's a good chunk of these babies were born, and unfortunately Hargreaves could only find 7 of them. and he turns them into this superhero team. Like he forces them almost to be the superhero team. And years later, in the first volume, Apocalypse Suite, Hargreaves dies, and so the team reunites after having separated and decided to live their own lives. They reunite to go to Hargreaves' funeral, and chaos ensues, and so they have to become the Umbrella Academy once again. It's a very weird comic, very heavily inspired by Doom Patrol, which oddly enough is currently being written by Gerard Way. So good too. You should read that series as well. Yeah, so that's kind of more or less the gist of the first volume, which I'm assuming season one's going to be an adaptation of. Now, the team itself is actually really cool. There's Space Boy, who is basically this guy who got into a really bad accident, and so they put his head on to the body of a gorilla to save his life, and so now he has like the abilities of like a superhuman gorilla. Then there's the Kraken, who's like the Raphael of the team, you know, the Batman of the team, or Rorschach. He could breathe underwater, but he's still a superhero. He's still active as a superhero. There's the Rumor, who basically has this ability. She can say any kind of rumor and it actually happens. Like, you know, I heard a rumor that your head blew up and your head would explode into a million pieces. There's the Seance, who's kind of the sassy, eccentric guy. He basically has the ability to envelop the souls of the dead, and they take over his body. He can also levitate and do a lot of other cool stuff. There's number 5, who is I don't even want to tell you who number 5 is. He's basically this really cool 10-year-old kid. Though you got to read the comic on that one. There's a lot involved with number 10. Then there's the Horror, who actually is dead when when the first volume happens. He shows up like once in like the Free Comic Book Day issue, and that's it. And then there's number 7, Vanya. I can never pronounce her name right, but she's also very. And I don't want to tell you about her because she's also a very important character. And so that's basically the team. Yeah, I guess that's kind of it. That's more or less the gist of what Umbrella Academy is. Again, I'm very excited for the show. I also have some nerves because, you know, you want it to be right. You want the adaptation to be good. And I'm not familiar with the guy's work that's working on the show, but I think Netflix is the right home, and I think a live action TV show is the right idea, and Umbrella Academy definitely is something that needs to be more out there. And you know, these days, I think it'll be. I think it'll be as big as. I think it could be a big thing. So I'm very excited for it. In the comment section, what's a series you want to see adapted into a Netflix show? Tell me. I want to know. And that's it for me, guys. Bye bye.